Hello, I wanted to do a haul of some of the books that I bought a while back. Some from like the end of summer till right about now or a few weeks ago. So the first one I wanted to mention, which would actually be good for like spooky season, is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This was so good. It's a thriller and I read it pretty quickly. I don't know how many days, but just a few days, and I couldn't put it down. This book takes so many unexpected like turns, and there's a bunch of plot twists, and the author is really, really good at unraveling the story, and you never know what's gonna happen next. Like, it's a pretty simple story, and then all of a sudden it's like peeling back layers and it gets complex, and it's so good. You're not gonna put it down. And I have to talk about ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, because this one I'm in the process of reading, and I know that I'm gonna be sucked into like the rest of whatever Sarah J. Maas writes, because they are really, really good. So I think it was in
maybe late July or in August when I borrowed my sister's copy of ACOTAR.
And that was so good. At first it was a bit slow for me, and then it picked up and I was like, wow. So I had to buy the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury. This was pretty big. Same thing as with the House Across the Lake book. I couldn't put it down. I enjoyed reading it so much every day. Like, I would take it outside and read it in the sun when it was like August, so it was a good time. Really, really good, this one. And
after I finished this, I had to buy like the other two.
So A Court of Wings and Ruin and A Court of Frost and Starlight, which I read this one after A Court of Mist and Fury. This one I probably liked a bit better even than the second book. In my opinion, it was a little bit better, and like this one actually made me emotional in like two places where I was fighting my tears pretty much. And I have a reading order going on as well. So this one, it's a novella, so it's in between A Court of Wings and Ruin and the last book that's currently out, which is A Court of Silver Flames, which that one I will probably be reading in December or January as per my reading list right now. So this I'll be reading in like December, and it'll be finished pretty quick. And I need to talk about my progress with George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood. This book, I bought this last year around this time, maybe like in October, I'm guessing. After I finished watching House of the Dragon, which is a show that happens before Game of Thrones. This book is like a fat history about the Targaryens, and it's very interesting, and it feels like it's real history, but it's just tons of information, tons of characters, so it's been hard to get through. You know, I read it for a while, and then I stopped reading for months, and then, you know, I still have to finish it now.
Which I am doing, but it's hard because I did purchase Fourth Wing
by Rebecca Yarros. And this is so, so, so good. Like, it's not perfect, I guess, but it's the first book out of 5 apparently. So, you know, there's time to do more world building and like dive deeper into, you know, the whole continent basically that they live on, and all that extra stuff. But this one you would love if you like dragons and like war and war college, whatever, and badass characters. This is so good. This is action-packed, and I could not stop reading it. Like, trying to read these two, like alternating between these two is so hard, because this makes this book like so difficult to read, because it's just a big like history explanation basically, and this is action, and it's happening now, and it's fantastic. I can't wait for the second one, which I'll be reading in mid-November, I think it comes. So I'm very excited for that. But I told myself I have to get through this. It's not even much left, but it's just so much more difficult when you have more exciting books to read. But that was everything, and I think I'll be talking about books a lot more because I love books. I love to read. I'm writing my own book right now, and I've been writing different books for years, but none of them have ever like become a real thing or fully fleshed out. And I draw a lot of inspiration from already existing books that I read, so hopefully I've convinced you to read at least one of these.